Have you ever replayed the same conversation over and over again? Maybe someone said something that didn't seem right. Maybe you sent a message and they didn't reply. Maybe you made a small mistake and now, hours later, you're still thinking about it. You tell yourself, stop thinking about it. But your brain refuses to listen. Instead, it keeps asking questions. What if they misunderstood me? What if I said the wrong thing? What if I made a terrible impression? What if something goes wrong tomorrow? The more you think, the more exhausted you become. And yet, you still don't have an answer. If this happens to you, you're not alone. Millions of people struggle with overthinking. But here's something surprising. Your brain isn't overthinking because it wants to make you miserable. It's overthinking because it believes it's protecting you. Your brain has one important job: keep you alive. For thousands of years, humans survived by noticing danger. If our ancestors ignored potential threats, they didn't survive for long. So the human brain evolved to constantly scan for problems. The problem is, your brain can't always tell the difference between a real danger and an imagined one. A lion chasing you is a real threat. An unanswered text message usually isn't. But your brain can react as if both deserve your attention. That's why one small problem can grow into a giant one. It begins with a single thought. They haven't replied. Then another. Maybe they're upset. Then another. Maybe I ruined the friendship. Before long, your brain has created an entire story without a single piece of evidence. This is one of the biggest traps of overthinking. Your brain mistakes possibility for probability. Just because something could happen doesn't mean it's likely to happen. Yet your mind keeps exploring every possible outcome. Imagine standing at the bottom of a staircase. Instead of taking the first step, you try to predict every step you'll take until you reach the top. It sounds impossible, but that's exactly what overthinking tries to do. It wants certainty before action. The problem is, certainty rarely exists. Life is unpredictable. No amount of thinking can remove every risk. Another reason we overthink is because our brains hate unfinished stories. If something doesn't make sense, your mind keeps searching for an explanation. Why did they say that? Why did they look at me like that? Why didn't they call? Sometimes there isn't an answer, but your brain hates that. It would rather invent a story than accept uncertainty. Unfortunately, the stories it invents are often negative. That's because negative possibilities feel more important to your survival. Here's another interesting fact. Overthinking often feels productive. You tell yourself, I'm just trying to figure it out. But there's a difference between problem solving and overthinking. Problem solving leads to action. Overthinking leads to more thinking. If you've been thinking about the same problem for days without taking any action, you're probably stuck in an overthinking loop. So how do you escape? The first step is to notice when you're doing it. Ask yourself, am I solving this problem or am I repeating it? That one question can interrupt the cycle. The second step is to separate facts from stories. Let's say someone hasn't replied. The fact is simple. They haven't replied. Everything else, they're angry, they don't like me, I ruined everything. Those are stories. Your brain created them. Until you have evidence, they're just guesses. Learning this distinction can completely change the way you think. The third step is to give your brain something real to focus on. When your thoughts keep spinning, bring your attention back to the present moment. Notice your breathing. Notice the sounds around you. Notice your feet touching the floor. Overthinking lives in the future or the past. Peace exists in the present. Another powerful strategy is setting a thinking limit. Instead of letting your mind worry all day, give yourself 10 minutes. Write down every worry, every fear, every question. When the time is over, return to your day. This teaches your brain that it doesn't have unlimited time to chase endless thoughts. Now let's talk about perfectionism. Many overthinkers are also perfectionists. They believe if they think long enough, they'll avoid mistakes. But perfection doesn't exist. You can spend weeks trying to make the perfect decision. Meanwhile, someone else makes a good decision and learns from it. Progress beats perfection every single time. There's another hidden reason.